Today on MTG Unpacked, we're getting stuck into the Modern Horizons 3 Collector Edition Commander deck, Creative Energy. So this is a blue, red, white deck, also known as the Jeskai color combo. So this deck, all about the energy, the commander here, Setcha, Aetherflux, Genius. So we get a Collector Booster sample pack, 2 borderless profile cards, 100 card deck with 15 new cards, deck box, 10 double-sided tokens, foil etch display commander, life wheel, strategy, insert, and reference card. Okay, so let's rip into this. And what is the fun little saying under here? Usually fans of something or other. Oh, we've got a malfunction here. Welcome, Energy super fans. Okay, that seems a little bit lazy to use these same sayings over and over, but what do I know? Alright, let's see what we've got here. So we've got our deck and of course some shiny punch outs here. So that is awesome. And then in this envelope, whole bunch of stuff. So we've got our Collector Booster sample pack, a little bit the worse for wear, hopefully no card damage. We've got our life wheel and deck box. So this one, I have been informed, will actually hold your entire sleeved deck. I think it really depends on what sort of sleeves you use. So if you're using like thicker sleeves, maybe not. And then our life wheel here, going up to 40, and this is actually the same one they put in all of the decks, so a little bit disappointed with that, to be honest. Let's take a look at the flyer here and learn about the deck. So we have Setcha, Aetherflux, Genius, so you can read some lore about this dude. And then on the other side here, so Creative Energy, how to play the deck. So saving up energy and using those for other purposes. Then we have Commander Rules in case you're new to the format. Okay, and let's get into our Collector Booster Sample Pack. So these decks will set you back about $106 on TCG Player. That's US dollars. And that is for the collector version, and the regular version currently going for about 48, so that's pretty reasonable. The collector ones, of course, are a little bit unreasonable. And what do we get here? We have a Mythic. So the extended art here, these are the Restless. It's a Mythic, nice one. And what is this? Jolted Awake with the retro border. Okay, so usually nothing too crazy in the sample packs. Let's get into the deck itself. And were you able to take part in any pre-release events for Modern Horizons 3? Let me know in the comments. So I think it's funny that they've got commander decks for something that's really meant for the modern format. So let's take a look here at a thick display commander here. This is Setcha, Aetherflux, Genius, and you'll notice even the thick cardstock has the ripple foil, so it looks very cool indeed. And then we will cut the deck here, make it a little bit easier, otherwise it's going to be sliding around everywhere. You can already see that happening. Okay, so our commander here, Setcha, Aetherflux, Genius, legendary creature, human artificer. It's a mythic. 3/5 for 1 blue, red, and white with menace and haste. Whenever Setcha attacks, create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of up to 1 other target non-token creature you control. And you get 2 energy. At the beginning of the next end step, sacrifice that token unless you pay an amount of energy equal to its mana value. So around the time I started playing Magic, I had a Teemo Energy deck. I thought that was pretty cool. And next up we have Kaith, Famed Mechanist, legendary creature, dwarf artificer. It's another mythic, and it's 3/3, 1 blue, red, and white. Fabricate 1. Other non-token creatures you control have Fabricate 1. We'll probably get a tip on one of the other cards about what that means. For 2, tap, choose one, populate or proliferate. So you might want to look up those terms if you're not familiar with those already. Next up we have Jolted Awake. Sorcery for a single white. Choose up to one target artifact or creature card in your graveyard. You get 2 energy counters, then you may pay an amount of energy equal to that card's mana value. If you do, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield, cycle it for 2. And again, more Ripple foil goodness. Then we have Bespoke Battle Wagon. Artifact vehicle 5/6 for 3 and a blue. So if you tap, you get 2 energy. If you tap and pay 2 energy, you get to tap target creature. If you tap and pay 3 energy, you get to draw a card. And if you pay 4 energy, Bespoke Battle Wagon becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. You can crew it for 4. Then we have Royal Cartographer creature Merfolk Rogue. 1/3 for 1 and a blue, has landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you get energy. And if you tap, pay 6 energy, you get to draw 3 cards. So basically, energy, you're just cashing it in for all sorts of other things. Next up, we've got an Unstable Amulet. Artifact for 1 and a red. When it enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy. And whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, Unstable Amulet deals 1 damage to each opponent. And if you tap, pay 2 energy, exile the top card of your library. You may play it until you exile another card with Unstable Amulet. Then we have an Amped Raptor, creature dinosaur, 2/1 for 1 and a red, first strike. When it enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy. Then if you cast it from your hand, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card. You may cast that card by paying an amount of energy equal to its mana value rather than paying its mana cost. So cashing in energy for mana as well, that's cool. Solar Transformer, artifact for 2. It enters battlefield tapped, and when it enters battlefield you get 3 energy, tap for colorless mana, or tap, pay 1 energy, add 1 mana of any color. Then we have a Scurry of Gremlins. You might remember these dudes from Kaladesh or Aether Revolt. Enchantment for 2, red and white. When Scurry of Gremlins enters battlefield, create 2 1/1 red gremlin creature tokens. Then you get an amount of energy equal to the number of creatures you control. And if you pay 4 energy, creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain haste until end of turn. A whiff of ether brings the horde out of hiding. Then we have an Izzet Generatorium, artifact for blue and red. If you would get 1 or more energy, you get that many +1 energy instead. That's cool. Tap, draw a card, activate only if you've paid or lost 4 or more energy this turn. Then we have a Talisman of Conviction, artifact for 2, tap 4 colorless, or tap, add red or white, and it deals 1 damage to you. Then we have Tezzeret's Gambit. It's a sorcery for 3 and Phyrexian blue mana, so you can either pay that with blue or 2 life. Draw 2 cards, then proliferate. So proliferate means choose any number of permanents and or players, then give each another counter of each kind already there. Then we have Izzet Boilerworks, enters battlefield tapped. When it enters battlefield, return a land you control to its owner's hand, tap 4 blue and red. Then we have Azorius Chancery, another land, enters battlefield tapped. When it enters battlefield, return a land you control to its owner's hand, tap 4 white and blue. Next up is Talisman of Progress, artifact for 2, and you tap for colorless or tap for white or blue, and it deals 1 damage to you. Then we have Command Tower, another land, tap to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. Burnished Heart, artifact creature Elk, 2/2 for 3, pay 3, sack it, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. And Arcane Signet, artifact for 2, tap to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. And of course, the ever popular Soul Ring, artifact for 1, tap for 2 colorless. Then we have Era of Innovation, enchantment for 1 and a blue. Whenever an artifact or artificer enters battlefield under your control, you may pay 1. If you do, you get 2 energy, and if you pay 6 energy and sacrifice Era of Innovation, you get to draw 3 cards. Then we have a extended art Sphinx of the Revelation. Artifact creature Sphinx, 4/5 for 3 white and blue. Has flying and lifelink. Whenever you gain life, you get that many energy. And for white and 2 blue, tap, pay X energy. You get to draw X cards. So pretty steep cost, but you do get a nice benefit from that. Then we've got a Filigree Racer. Artifact vehicle, 5/5 for 3 and a red. When it enters battlefield, you get 4 energy, and whenever it attacks, you may pay 2 energy. When you do, target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains jump start until end of turn, crew for 1. And then we have Localized Destruction Sorcery for 3 and 2 white. You get energy, then you may pay 1 or more energy. If you do, each creature you control with power equal to the amount of energy paid this way gains indestructible until end of turn. Destroy all creatures. Then we have Ether Refinery. Artifact for 4 and 2 red. If you would get 1 or more energy, you get twice that many energy instead. Tap, you get energy. Then you may pay 1 or more energy. If you do, create an XX black Etherborn creature token, where X is the amount of energy paid this way. Then we have Hourglass of the Lost. Artifact for 2 and a white. Tap, add white mana. Put a time counter on Hourglass of the Lost. And if you tap, remove X time counters from it and exile it. Return each non-land permanent card with mana value X from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. Then we have a Salvation Colossus. Artifact creature construct, 9/9 for 6 and 2 white with flying, vigilance, and trample. Whenever you attack, other creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain indestructible until end of turn. And unearth, you get to, or you have to pay 8 energy if you want to unearth that one. Then we have Blaster Hulk. Artifact creature, pirate, 8/8 for 6 and 2 red. The spell costs 1 less to cast for each energy you've paid or lost this turn. Has haste, and whenever Blaster Hulk attacks, you get 2 energy. Then you may pay 8 energy. When you do, Blaster Hulk deals 8 damage divided as you choose among up to 8 targets. So a whole lot of 8s on that one. Then we have Razorfield Ripper. Artifact creature, equipment Rhino, 3/3 for 2 and a white. Whenever Razorfield Ripper or equipped creature attacks, you get energy. Then it gets +X until end of turn, where X is the amount of energy you have. You can reconfigure by paying 2 or 3 energy. So that's actually 2 mana, I should say. Silver Quill Lecturer, creature core wizard, 3/3 for 4 and a white. Creature spells you cast have demonstrate. So a whole lot of keywords you might want to look up before you start playing this deck. Then we have Overclocked Electromancer, 2/2 for 2 and a red. Creature Lizard Wizard, that is hilarious. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may pay 3 energy. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on Overclocked Electromancer. And whenever it attacks, double its power until end of turn. And whenever it deals combat damage to a creature, if that creature was dealt excess damage this turn, you get X energy, where X is that excess damage. Then we have a Stone Idol Generator, artifact for 5. Whenever a creature you control attacks, you get energy. And if you tap, pay 6 energy. Create a 6/12 colorless construct artifact creature token with trample. Activate only as a sorcery. And that was going to be my question. I guess you do actually generate stone idols. That's cool. Then we have Aurora Shifter, creature shapeshifter, 1/3 for 1 and a blue. Whenever Aurora Shifter deals combat damage to a player, you get that many energy. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, you may pay 2 energy. When you do, Aurora Shifter becomes a copy of another target creature you control, except it has this ability, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you get that many energy. Then we have a Conversion Apparatus, artifact for 3. Tap for colorless or pay 3, tap. You get 3 energy. Tap, pay 3 energy. Add 3 mana in any combination of colors. Then we have Gonti's Ether Heart, legendary artifact for 6. It's a mythic. Whenever Gonti's Ether Heart or another artifact enters battlefield under your control, you get 2 energy. And if you pay 8 energy and exile Gonti's Ether Heart, take an extra turn after this one. That is nuts. Then we have Lightning Runner, creature, human warrior, another mythic. 2/2 for 3 and 2 red. Has double strike and haste. Whenever Lightning Runner attacks, you get 2 energy. Then you may pay 8 energy. If you pay, untap all creatures you control. And after this phase, there's an additional combat phase. Then we have an Aethertide Whale, creature, whale, 6/4 for 4 and 2 blue. Flying, when it enters battlefield, you get 6 energy. And if you pay 4 energy, return the Aethertide Whale to its owner's hand. Then we have Ether Geode Miner, creature, dwarf, scout, 3/1 for 1 and white. So whenever it attacks, you get 2 energy. And if you pay 2 energy, exile Ether Geode Miner, then return it to battlefield under its owner's control. And then we have an Ether Sphere Harvester, artifact vehicle, 3/5 for 3 with flying. When it enters battlefield, you get 2 energy, and if you pay 1 energy, it gains lifelink until end of turn, and you can crew it for 1. And if you're not familiar with that, to crew something, you tap any number of creatures you control with total power 1 or more. In this instance, the vehicle becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. Then we have Bident of Thassa, legendary enchantment artifact for 2 and 2 blue. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. And for 1 and a blue, tap creatures your opponents control. Attack this turn if able. Then we have Temple of Enlightenment. Enters battlefield tapped. When it enters battlefield, scry 1, tap for white or blue. And Battlefield Forge. Land, tap for colorless or tap to add red or white. And it deals 1 damage to you. Then we have a Mere Battle Sphere. Artifact creature, Mere Construct, 4/7 for 7. When it enters battlefield, create 4 1/1 colorless Mere artifact creature tokens. And whenever Mere Battle Sphere attacks, you may tap X, untap Mere you control. If you do, Mere Battle Sphere gets +X +0 until end of turn and deals X damage to the player or planeswalker it's attacking. And it's Grenzo, Havoc Razor, legendary creature, Goblin Rogue, love it. 2/2 for 2 red. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, choose 1. Goad target creature that player controls, or exile the top card of that player's library. Until end of turn, you may cast that card, and you may spend mana or mana of any color to cast that spell. Then we have Bruderclad Telchor Engineer, or Telchor, not sure how you'd pronounce that. Legendary artifact creature, Phyrexian Artificer. It's a mythic, 4/4 for 4. Blue and red. Creature tokens you control have haste. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 2/1 blue Phyrexian Mere artifact creature token. Then you may choose a token you control. If you do, each other token you control becomes a copy of that token. Then we have a Coveted Jewel artifact for 6. When it enters battlefield, draw 3 cards and tap to add 3 mana of any one color. Whenever 1 or more creatures an opponent controls attacks you and is not blocked, that player draws 3 cards and gains control of Coveted Jewel. Untap it. Oh, nice one. Goldspan Dragon. It's a mythic. Creature Dragon, 4/4 for 3 and 2 red. This one's from Kaldheim. Flying in haste. Whenever it attacks or becomes a target of a spell, create a treasure token. Treasures you control have tap. Sack this artifact, add 2 mana of any one color. Then we have Legion Loyalty Enchantment for 6 and 2 white. Creatures you control have Myriad. And it's another mythic. So whenever a creature with Myriad attacks, for each opponent other than defending player, you may create a token copy that's tapped and attacking that player or a planeswalker they control. Exile the tokens at end of combat. Then we have Mystic Gate, a land, tap for colorless or for white or blue. Tap, add 2 white, white and blue, or 2 blue mana. Then we have a Chroma's Will, another nice reprint. Instant for 3 and a white. Choose 1. If you control a commander as you cast a spell, you may choose both instead. Creatures you control gain flying, vigilance, and double strike until end of turn. Or creatures you control gain lifelink, indestructible, and protection from each colour until end of turn. Then we have Adakar Wastes, tap for colourless, so it's another land. Tap to add white or blue, and it deals 1 damage to you. Next we have Shivan Reef, so another land. Tap for colourless, tap to add blue or red, and it deals 1 damage to you. So I think they call these the pain lands. Then we have a Coalition Relic, artifact for 3, tap to add 1 mana of any colour, or tap, put a charge counter on Coalition Relic, and at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, remove all charge counters from Coalition Relic. Add 1 mana of any colour for each charge counter removed this way. Then we have a Combustible Gearhulk Mythic, artifact creature construct, 6/6 for 4 and 2 red. First strike, when it enters the battlefield, target opponent may have you draw 3 cards. If the player doesn't, you mill 3 cards, then Combustible Gearhulk deals damage to that player equal to the total mana value of those cards. And then we have an Aetherworks Marvel, nice one, another mythic legendary artifact for 4. Whenever a permanent you control is put into a graveyard, you get an energy counter. Tap, pay 6 energy, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may cast a spell from among them without paying its mana cost. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Then we have Angel of Invention, another mythic creature angel, 2/1 for 3 and 2 white. Flying, vigilance, and lifelink. Fabricate 2. So we saw that earlier. That means when this creature enters the battlefield, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it, or create 2 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature tokens. Other creatures you control get +1/+1. Then we have Confiscation Coup, sorcery for 3 and 2 blue. Choose target artifact or creature. You get 4 energy. Then you may pay an amount of energy equal to that permanent's mana value. If you do, gain control of it. Then we have an Ether Storm Rock, creature bird, 3/3 for 2 and 2 white. Flying, whenever Ether Storm Rock or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you get energy, and whenever it attacks, you may pay 2 energy. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on it and tap up to 1 target creature defending player controls. Ether Squall, ancient creature Leviathan, 6/6 for 5 and 2 blue. Flying, at the beginning of your upkeep, you get 3 energy, and if you pay 8 energy, return all other creatures to their owner's hands. Activate only as a sorcery. Then we have Frostboil Snarl, it's a land. As it enters battlefield, you may reveal an island or mountain card from your hand. If you don't, it enters battlefield tapped. Tap for blue or red. Then we have Austere Command, sorcery for 4 and 2 white. Choose 2, destroy all artifacts, destroy all enchantments, destroy all creatures with mana value 3 or less, or destroy all creatures with mana value 4 or greater. Then we have Fury Calm Snarl, another land. As it enters battlefield, you may reveal a mountain or plains card from your hand. If you don't, it enters battlefield tap. Tap for red or white. And Midnight Clock, artifact for 2 and a blue. Tap for blue, and for 2 and a blue, put an hour counter on Midnight Clock. And at the beginning of each upkeep, put an hour counter on Midnight Clock. And when the 12th hour counter is put on Midnight Clock, shuffle your hand and graveyard into your library, then draw 7 cards. Exile Midnight Clock. Then we have a Professional Facebreaker, creature human warrior, 2/3 for 2 and a red with menace. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. And if you sacrifice a treasure, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Then we have Farewell. This is another nice reprint. Sorcery for 4 and 2 white. Choose 1 or more. Exile all artifacts, exile all creatures, exile all enchantments, or exile all graveyards. Then we have Port Town, another land. As it enters battlefield, you may reveal a plains or island card from your hand. If you don't, it enters battlefield tapped. Tap for white or blue. And Temple of Triumph. When it enters battlefield tapped, and when it enters battlefield scry 1, tap for red or white. Solemn Simulacrum, artifact creature golem, 2/2/4. When it enters battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card. Put that card onto battlefield tap, then shuffle, and when it dies, you may draw a card. Temple of Epiphany, It enters battlefield tapped. When it enters battlefield, scry 1, tap for blue or red. And Prairie Stream, tap for white or blue, enters battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. Skyclave Apparition, creature core spirit, 2/2 for 1 and 2 white. When it enters battlefield, exile up to 1 target non-land, non-token permanent you don't control with mana value 4 or less. And when it leaves the battlefield, the exile card's owner creates an XX blue illusion creature token, where X is the mana value of the exiled card. Then we have Castle Vantress. It's a land, enters battlefield tapped. Unless you control an island, tap for blue. And for 2 and 2 blue, tap scry 2. Then we have Ether Hub. It's a land. When it enters battlefield, you get energy. You can tap for colorless or tap pay energy. Add 1 mana of any color. Then we have Decoction Module. Artifact for 2. Whenever a creature enters battlefield under your control, you get energy. And for 4, tap, return target creature you control to its owner's hand. Glimmer of Genius, instant for 3 and a blue. Scry 2, then draw 2 cards, you get 2 energy. And then moving on to the rest of the deck here, you'll see a bunch of cards from Kaladesh and Aether Revolt. We have Whirler Virtuoso. It's a creature, Vidalcan Artificer, 2/3 for 1 blue and red. When it enters battlefield, you get 3 energy, and if you pay 3 energy, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. Then we have Talisman of Creativity, artifact for 2, tap for colorless, tap, add blue or red, and it deals 1 damage to you. Swords to Plowshares, instant for a single white, exile target creature. Its controller gains life equal to its power. Wayfarer's Bauble, artifact for 1, for 2, tap, sack it. Search your library for a basic land card, put that card onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Then we have Demolition Field. It's a land, tap for colorless, for 2, tap, sack it, destroy target non-basic land an opponent controls. That land's controller may search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. You may search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. And Mystic Monastery, enters battlefield tap, tap for blue, red or white. And then we got some basic lands, so plains, 10 of those, islands, 5 of those, and mountains, 5 of those. Okay, so pretty simple mana base there. And then you do have a bunch of other lands in the deck as well. And of course, with all that energy, you need an energy reserve token here. And typically you would put dice on this to represent the amount of energy you have. Sadly, the other side of each token is just plain no foiling. So we've got a 1/1 servo here, Etherborn, star, and then on the other side, 1/1 servo. We've got a star illusion. Other side, we've got a 1/1 servo. I guess you're creating a ton of those. Phyrexian Mere, 2/1. And of course, a servo. Then we have a treasure token. So if you tap, sack this artifact, add 1 mana of any color. Copy on the other side. And a 1/1 gremlin token. Along with copy. We've got a foil copy token. And a plain gremlin. Then we've got a 1/1 flying Thopter. On the other side, a copy token. And a 6/12 construct with trample. I think that's the idol generator card, right? We've got a 1/1 Mere on the other side. Etherborn, star. And a Thopter on the other side. Parts of the turn. Popular Magic formats. Of course, everyone knows Commander is the best, right? Okay, so this deck, very different than the others. Energy is one of those mechanics that's really hard to interact with. So this deck is pretty cool. You can just save up a bunch of energy and then cash it in for mana or a whole bunch of other tricks. So this one is also one of the cheaper decks. So I would highly recommend picking this up if you like the energy mechanic. And stay tuned, we've got one more Commander deck coming up, another one of the Collector Edition versions. And if you've missed any of the Modern Horizons 3 videos on the channel so far, I'll pop a link up in the corner. Hope everyone's staying safe and healthy out there. Thanks for watching and have a great day.